the unseen enemy, that is COVID-19, one mobile app aims to help build your defenses against the deadly virus. Let's find out more about Novid from its founder, Po-Shen Loh. He joins us now from Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. Mr. Po, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, how does this Novid app work?
Wow, real pleasure to be able to talk to you. Thank you very much. The main idea is actually, it's completely different from all of the contact tracing apps that were used all around the world. It's a totally new way to think about how you could try to protect yourself against COVID by giving yourself the equivalent of a radar. Actually, the insight was, if you could find out if a disease is coming towards you long before it actually got to you, then you can actually protect yourself against it by keeping more distance from people or wearing a better mask at key times. So the important thing was, how can we let you know if something's coming from far away? And that's the big insight. It's to decide on how far away a disease is, not in terms of meters, because you don't even know that that person is sick, but in terms of relationships. This is the first tool in the world which would let you know automatically that COVID has suddenly struck somebody who spends time with, somebody who spends time with, somebody who spends time with you.
And a lot of people, Mr. Po, are also quite concerned about the privacy of a lot of these contact tracing apps. Does Novid ask for your number and your personal information?
Absolutely not. So I'm actually a researcher in mathematics, and the insight for creating this was that if what you make is an app that helps protect the individual, as opposed to an app that's designed to control the individual, then you don't need this personal information. It's just like if you have an airplane or a ship with a radar. The radar doesn't need your mobile number in order for the radar to start working.
So the bottom line of your Novid app, Mr. Po, and it acts like an early warning app, and you have more time to take action, which is basically a key component in opening up many economies, not only here in the Philippines, but around the world.
Yes, the reason why this invention is actually a big deal is because we've already been seeing that, as you just reported, the South Africans discovered that their particular use of AstraZeneca vaccine is having issues. We actually realized that you can make a general solution that works against every COVID variant and could actually help you reopen economies, where it just uses the fact that if every single person is more capable at defending themselves, then you can have people start to go around again.
Novid uses Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and the microphone of phones. But we have sort of like an issue here in the Philippines where we have slow internet connections. Could this be a problem when using the Novid app?
The Philippines is one of the countries that we've spent the most time talking to people from, and so we've taken a lot of efforts to make sure it will work. In particular, the reason why we use Bluetooth as our primary way of phones talking to each other is because Bluetooth doesn't require internet or data plan. Actually, if you're just walking around outside and you have no internet connection, the phones are automatically talking to each other like radios on Bluetooth, and they keep track of which random people, we don't know the people, but which random users they were around. And then whenever you go back to internet, maybe back to home, then it just connects to the server and it says, here's what I've seen, could you please give me my radar update?
And how many countries right now and communities around the world are using this Novid app?
So this is a scientific breakthrough which has not been fully rolled out into an entire country yet. On the other hand, there are several leading universities, very famous universities around the world, in the United States, in Saudi Arabia, which are using this. And there are also different groups in the Philippines that we have talked to who are experimenting with this to go and see how to quantify how well this actually works in the Philippines. We're actually extremely optimistic.
Could it eventually also be used, Mr. Po, as a vaccination app, so we could also know if a person has been vaccinated or not?
The way that we're going to be dealing with vaccinations is we care very much about privacy. So we wouldn't be able to make this into a vaccine passport that requires your personal information. On the other hand, we're looking to do something far more powerful. The breakthrough of this is the first app that we have discovered people actually want, because this app protects you. It's actually for selfish people too. You don't even have to care about other people. If you just want to not get sick, this is the app for you. Now, once you have something that everyone actually wants to install and which builds this understanding of anonymous person here next to anonymous person there next to anonymous person there, we are building a feature where people will be able to say whether they got vaccinated and with which vaccine, precisely because that's how we'll be able to understand from a scientific perspective which vaccines work against which variants. So rather than making this your vaccine passport, the goal is to make this actually the only method in the world that we have to figure out which vaccines work against which variants in real time, in real life.
Thank you so much for explaining to us your Novid application. Its creator, Po-Shen Loh, joining us from Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania.